What's going on? My name is FreeRunnerX10 and welcome to a brand new video. So in today's video, I'll take a look at a brand new free-to-play online first-person shooter called Black Squad. Now, Black Squad is releasing on Steam in summer of 2017. There isn't a specific date as of yet, but it should be releasing sometime between July and August of this year. Now, the game is being developed by NS Studio. It's being published by NeoWiz on Steam. It's 100% free-to-play. I haven't really seen any information about it other than a few bits of promotional material, some screenshots, some videos, but I'm going to break down the game and show you what this game has to offer. I will be doing a first impressions video when the game actually comes out, but I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on it as of right now with what information I know, because this game has had some past and it has been released in other territories around the world, and I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. Now, the first time I heard about this game was back in 2015, but it wasn't called Black Squad, it was actually called Viper Squad. I don't know what happened back then, but it seems they just carried on developing the game. They decided to change the name and just keep on working on the game and hopefully trying to make it better. Now, they did in fact have a closed beta test for Black Squad in North America, but nothing happened after that closed beta test. There was no full release up until now via Steam. Now, it turns out that the publisher and developers have released the game in the Asian market, so it was available in Japan, in Korea, in Thailand, in Indonesia, at one point available in Brazil. Now, since then, the only people that are able to play this are people in Japan, Korea, and Indonesia. Thailand and Brazil were terminated. So the two companies who were publishing the games in those regions basically terminated the game. The game ceased to exist in those regions. So hopefully with the Steam version, there can be a Thailand server and a Brazil server for players of those regions to actually play the game, because I feel like Steam is a platform where you can have a global release, where you can have a game which is available to everyone and you have different servers that people can play on across the world. Now, as it stands right now, when the game's actually launching on Steam, they're going to have 3 servers, or 4 if you count the master server. So the way it's going to work is it's going to work like any other free-to-play online first-person shooter. Your Steam account is either going to be connected to one of their accounts system, so it either uses your Steam account and then connects to their servers and you have an account on their system using Steam, or you'll have to create an account with them and then log into that while you're using the thing through Steam. Don't know how it's going to work yet, but I'm hoping it's where I just start the game up and I'm automatically logged in via Steam, but we shall see. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to connect to a master server. This master server is going to verify that you are who you are and you've got the right account, and then it's going to basically download all of your data. So that means it's going to download your inventory, all other things that you have on your account cosmetic wise, so that way your profile's loaded, all of your stats are loaded. And then there are servers past the master server. So you have the master server, you connect to the master server, which is basically a login server, and then you have servers that you can join depending on your region. Now, when the game launched, there's only going to be 3 servers. There's going to be 2 for NA, 1 is going to be in Oregon and 1 is going to be in Virginia, and for Europe we're going to have Frankfurt, Germany. Now, as it stands right now, Brazil doesn't have a server you can join and Thailand doesn't have a server you can join, so it looks like they may possibly add a Brazilian server. I'm not sure about Thailand. They have spoke about Brazil and they will possibly add a Brazil server for Brazilian players if there is a demand for it. So if you are a Brazilian player and you want to get back into this game, make sure you show some support and some appreciation for this game, because they are possibly, for the first things that they are going to do with this game, they're going to bring in a Brazilian server so Brazilian players can play with people from Brazil. So the way this works is it's similar to other free-to-play online first-person shooters. You connect to the master server sends all of your account data to you, so you are logged into your account. Then from there you select a master channel. So if you're NA, there'll be NA1 and NA2, and if you're in Europe, there'll be Europe 1, and you join that master channel. And then from that master channel, there's going to be a selection of different rooms. These are sort of like sub channels in the master channel, and in those rooms are going to be other rooms which are actual lobby rooms which you can join and play matches. So there's going to be like a master channel, and then there's going to be channels from like 1 to 10, and then you join one of those channels depending on the population, whether it's full, medium or low, and then in those channels you'll be able to find lobbies that people are hosting from client side. So I don't think it's going to be server side, so it's going to be peer-to-peer connection. So you're going to be relying on the fact that the host connection has to be really, really good. Now, for anyone wondering, can I play with NA players if I'm in Europe, and vice versa, if I'm an NA player, can I play on the Europe servers? Yes, you can. You can switch in between the master channels. So if you wanted to, if you're a European and you have some NA friends you want to play with, you can join the NA master server, then join an NA channel, join an NA room, and start the game. The problem you will have is ping, depending on where you are in the world. So if I'm in Europe, I'm in the United Kingdom right now, if I was to join the NA master server, join channel 1 and join a room, I can have anywhere from like 100 up to 200 ping, depending on where that host is located. Now that can be very bad for me, and it can be very bad for other people in the game, depending on how good the netcode is in this game. For example, it's going to be probably really bad for me because people are going to be sort of teleporting around on my screen, but for the enemy, I may also be teleporting around, I may be rubber banding around. It just depends on who's hosting it, how good the host connection is, and where you are from that server. So yeah, it all depends on the netcode and connections involved. So you can play with NA players if you want to as a European, and vice versa, but it's not sort of recommended, but you can do if you want to. So let's talk about game modes. Now the game claims to have 10 game modes, and as of right now there's not too much information around, but judging from the Korean side, it seems that they only have 6 game modes. Now I've translated this, and I'm basically just going to give you a basic rundown of what these game modes are and what I think they are and how they work. I'm not entirely sure that this is 100% correct, but judging from how most free-to-play online first-person shooters are, I'm sort of going off the assumption these are what the game modes are going to be. So these are 6 game modes that are on the Korean website, which are basically detailed in their guide. Unfortunately, the actual European and NA website doesn't actually have a guide which talks about the game in depth and gives information about game modes, maps and guns and customization and all that jazz. So unfortunately that's not something that's available yet, but hopefully it will be available in the future. So the first game mode is called Erase mode. Now my understanding of this is it's basically team deathmatch. So it's 2 teams fighting it out. You kill someone, you get killed, you respawn. When you kill someone, you get points. It's the first team to reach the maximum amount of points, or it's the first team to have the highest amount of points when the timer runs out. The second game mode is called survival mode, and survival mode is elimination pro, where you basically got 1 life and you basically got to eliminate the enemy team to win a round, and it's the first team to win a certain amount of rounds. Then you've got explosion mode, which is your classic bomb defusal mode. If you ever played Counter-Strike, it's where you've got the terrorists and the CTs, you've got sight. So basically the attacking team has to plant the bomb, blow the bomb up, or they have to eliminate the defending team, and the defending team has to either eliminate the attacking team or eliminate the attacking team and then defuse the bomb if the attacking team manages to plant the bomb, and it's the first team to win a certain amount of rounds. Now the next game mode is called occupation mode. Now this is actually 4 flag domination. So the way this game mode works out is there are 2 teams battling it out to capture flags, and once you've captured a flag you will gain a certain amount of points. So if you gain a majority of the flags on the map, say if you gain the 3 flags out of 4 and the enemy's got 1 flag, you are gaining more points than the enemy, and it's the first team to reach a certain amount of points, or it's the first team to have the highest amount of points when the timer runs out. Now next game mode is called destruction mode. Now my understanding of destruction mode is it's basically bomb mode or explosion mode, only you can respawn. So it's demolition from Call of Duty, where you have a bomb, you go to a demolition site A or B and you plant the bomb, you try and blow up that site, and then you try and blow up the next site, and then if you do that you've successfully won a round, and then you switch sides and then you repeat until a team wins. Then there's assassination mode, which is basically a VIP mode where you have a very important person, you've got to protect that person, eliminate the enemy team if they manage to kill the VIP to hopefully win. I think it's kind of confusing how they've how it's worded when it's translated, because Google Translate is not the most accurate translation tool in the world, as you would probably have guessed by now if you ever used Google Translate. So I'm kind of not too sure on assassination mode, but it is a VIP mode where you've got to protect a certain person in a certain way. whether that's an NPC or a player. Doesn't really go into specific detail, but hopefully we'll get some more information about these game modes in the future. Now, if you've been watching the gameplay in the background and some of the trailers in the background, then you probably noticed a few things that look a bit odd. Why is there an attack helicopter that's flying around shooting and blowing things up? Why are there some gadgets which look like they are some kind of special kill streak? Now, I'm not sure what those things equate to, but I'm trying to figure it out. So basically, it translates to bottle and skill. I'm not sure why that's a translation. That doesn't make any sense in my mind. But basically what it looks like is there are different types of what I guess are classes. There's an assault class, a support class, a recon class, and a command class. And these seem to be sort of like specializations, not like actual classes where you're limited to certain guns. You're allowed to have any gun in the game, but it just seems like these sort of like specializations give you an active skill, a passive skill, and what looks to be like kill streaks or little rewards that can help you in battle. For example, being able to call in like an orbital strike, being able to call in an attack helicopter, being able to basically pull an RPG out of your backpack, stuff like that. It's kind of odd and weird, but looks kind of interesting. Like I said, there's not too much information about this, so hopefully we get some more information about this bottle and skill system that it roughly translates to. I'm curious to see what it is, because there's an active skill for each sort of like specialization, and there's a passive skill. Now, these skills, I don't know whether they can be swapped out. I don't know whether they're earned by getting a certain kill streak. That's kind of odd to me. I don't know how that works. Hopefully we can get some more information about this perk system and see whether it is actually a kill streak system as well as a sort of perk / class system, because it's kind of confusing and they haven't really talked about it yet. So definitely need more information about that. Now let's move on to the maps for this game. Now I'm obviously going off the Korean website, so things are a little bit odd here, especially since I'm using Google Translate. But there are two sections to the website on the map section. One is called casual and one is called classic. On the casual section, the maps are sort of tailored towards casual play, and then there's a classic section which is tailored towards, I believe, competitive play, with a majority of those maps being explosion maps, or your bomb plant mode where one team's attacking, one team's defending. You have 1 life per round. Now for the casual maps, we have a map called Fake, a map called Dam Buster, a map called Skyscraper, a map called Greybone, a map called Storage, a map called Harbour Snow, a map called Dock Night, a map called Tallinn, a map called Rush, and a map called VBSS. Now for the classic maps, we have a map called Drop Zone, a map called Dust Shield, a map called Brooklyn, a map called Castle, a map called Collection, a map called Paper Company, a map called Carrier, a map called Two-Faced, a map called Isolable. Now moving on to gameplay. Gameplay is what you'd expect from a standard first-person shooter. It's first-person. You left-click to shoot, and you have a grenade and a non-lethal grenade, which is quite surprising. You don't see many free-to-play online first-person shooters where you actually have a lethal and a non-lethal grenade. That's more of like something you see in Call of Duty. And yeah, that looks interesting. You can take up to 3 loadouts in. You have F1, F2, and F3. So you can have 3 loadouts that you can switch between in battle, which I think is pretty cool. Also, you have the ability to use guns and basically aim down the iron sights of that gun or the scope. It doesn't look like you can customize your gun. It looks like there are preset guns with certain scopes and certain attachments that you can buy from the store, and they look like rentals. I don't know whether you can permanently buy them. There are certain guns which you unlock at a certain rank, which we'll talk about in a second. I'll show you the ranks that you can actually get in this game. They're not based off skill, they're based off playtime and how much XP you've got, and it's basically to signify how long you've been playing at the game. But yeah, it looks like guns are basically bought and they have certain attachments on them and you can't customize them, and that's how it is, I believe, which is kind of unfortunate. I'd love to have seen some gun customization, but I guess that's not part of the game and probably won't be a part of the game at all. So before I end this video, I'm going to leave you with the minimum and recommended system specifications. Go ahead and check them and see if you've got a system that is able to run this game. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, in fact, enjoy this video and you found it informative and liked the information and found this video useful, don't forget to leave a like. Unfortunately, if you're the complete opposite, you didn't enjoy this video and you didn't find it informative, then please don't forget to leave a dislike. Let me know in the comment section below how I can improve my content. Give me some constructive criticism, some feedback. Also, let let me know what you think about this game. Are you excited for another free-to-play online first-person shooter? And I hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you in my next video.